A bit of business news now. Adam joins us in the studio. Hello there.
Hello, Sophie. Hi, Matthew. Yes, no, we've just got latest figures from the Land Registry showing house prices rose by 0.3% in November. But those same figures, looking at the year as a whole, say that the annual movement is a 1.9% fall. Now, the price of a typical home is now £160,780. The only region in England and Wales to experience an increase in its average property value over the last 12 months is London, where prices rose by 1.4%. The North East experienced the greatest annual price fall, prices going down by 5.4% there. Now, meanwhile, a separate report from Nationwide forecasts that the housing market will continue to stagnate in 2012. Well, Henry Pryor is a housing expert and he joins me now. Now, Henry, let's start with the Land Registry statistics. £160,000 the average price for a house. Where do you see that going next year?
Well, I fear that, as the residents of Hartlepool will know, taking one extreme of this poll from the Land Registry this morning, they've seen house prices over the last 12 months fall by 19.8%. And whilst London and the South East has been relatively insulated against price falls, I'm afraid that the vast majority of us in England and Wales, which is the area the Land Registry covers, are going to see prices gently drift downwards.
Now, I'm a little confused, though, this morning. We have Land Registry figures, which you would assume are absolute, but there is this report from the Nationwide, and they're saying that annual house prices are up by 1%. How do we reconcile these two reports?
Well, like you, I was very confused to see these two reports come out on the same day and apparently saying quite different things. What's interesting, having checked with the Nationwide, is that their sample of their basket of property, their sample is at the end from the end of November and is most of December, whereas of course the Land Registry is talking about transactions that took place during the month of November on its own. I think perhaps what's more confusing for most people is that over the last 12 months, if you look at asking prices, which is what one might regard as an agreed gauge, when they're published, at the moment people have been asking slightly more, up 1.5% than they were this time last year, whereas as we've seen from this Land Registry survey today, real prices for those who have been able to sell, and there haven't been many of those, have actually fallen.
So there's a gap, but we're expecting to get more, and in reality we're getting less.
Absolutely. Understandably, people are optimistic when it comes to selling houses. They want to get the most that they can. Most people forget that actually trading in the same market actually negates the relevance of whether you get an awful lot of money or very little money. It's only those people at the two extremes of the housing ladder, those at the top coming out and retiring, downsizing, and obviously those hard-pressed trying to get onto the housing market at the bottom, for whom absolute prices are essential. We've got a massive crisis in housing in this country. We've seen endless reports we've discussed here over the last 12 months about the fact that there are nearly 3 million people on social housing waiting lists. It's something that the government is very alive to. We've seen the various government ministers trying to tackle this head-on with their housing strategy that they published just 6 weeks ago. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens through 2012. Actual prices appear to be trending slightly down, where asking prices still on the upwards.
Fascinating. Henry Pryor, thank you very much for coming in today.